Can you hear me now, ma'am?
Yes, yes, we can hear.
Okay.
And your slide also, but that is not in the full screen mode.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it is fine.
So my topic is, my topic is Chimeras in the art of Assam. I will be reading it. It'll be both visual and oral. So just for the introduction, the origin of the word chimera is found in Greek mythology. It is a fire-breathing female monster with the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and the tail of a serpent. The term chimera denotes any mythical creature formed from parts of different animals. So basically, it's a hybrid animal. It is often called the Vyala, and it's a popular motif in Indian art. It consists of a composite lion-like animal with the head of a tiger, elephant, bird, or other some animals, and is generally depicted in combat with humans or pouncing upon an elephant. Now, the Vyala is initially depicted in a realistic form in Indian art, as in the Sanchi Stupa, 50 BCE, or in the Kushana sculptures of Mathura in the 1st to 3rd century CE. But from about the 5th century onwards, it becomes stylized. And from the 8th century onwards, it becomes quite a common motif in the temples, both as part of the architecture and as a sculptural motif. Now, the art idioms of the Ganga Valley penetrated in the Brahmaputra Valley of Assam, with the kingdom of Devaka and Kamrupa. They came under Gupta suzerainty in the 4th century, as we find in the Allahabad Prasasti of Harishena, that is during time of Samudragupta. And along with these art idioms also travel through the trade routes and through political connections. And we find depiction of the Gajavyala or Gajasimha in the art quite similar to as seen in other parts of India. But in course of time, it evolved into a stylized lion attacking an elephant, the Gajavyala motif, which became Gajavyala motif, it became very popular throughout the region. Like we find Kirtimukh, etc. also, and we find this Gajavyala in temples. Now, besides the influence of what you call the Ganga Valley, or the culture of North India, etc., Vedic Brahminical traditions, Brahmaputra Valley actually lies in one of the greatest migration routes of the world. And prior to the entry of Indo-Aryan speakers, the region witnessed migration from Southeast Asia. And over time, this resulted in the penetration of another sculptural motif, namely the Ningaokha, a dragon-like leonine creature with wings, believed to be a primordial deity born from an egg during the creation of the universe in Thai cosmology. So today we're going to look at it, and these are how the both motifs they combined, and in the late medieval period, you find them sort of the motif which is a purely Indian motif of the Gajasimha. Now it becomes the Simha, now the lion, although it was stylized, now it changes and it actually becomes the Ningaokha. So like there is a sort of fusion of the motifs. Now this is a Gupta Temple doorway, and this is not in Nashnakuthara or Bhumara, but this is in a place called Tezpur in Assam. And you find the river goddess Jamuna and Ganga and Jamuna, they are holding garlands, etc. But here you find hybrid creatures, that is the Naga and Nagi. Here you can see it goes all up like this. Showing a bigger picture here. The Nagi and the Naga. You can see them with the hood, and the hybrid form of this chimeras, you can say, or at least in depiction. Because in India, like we forget about, we generally do not consider them as a chimera. We forget when we're talking about chimeras, because they are so much a part of our cultural heritage. We find depiction of snakes, anthropomorphic forms. So here you find, but technically speaking, these are also chimeras, this depiction with the hood. Oh, I wrote insert Ketu Rahu here, but I could not insert. I'm so sorry. Then there was some problem with the copy paste thing. Now what happened is one of the earliest chimeras is in Doparbitya, which I showed. and the figure of the river goddess Ganga and Jamuna. And as I had shown, they are paying obeisance to the goddesses. And basically, on the inside column of the Dwar Sakha, the river goddesses are symbols of fertility, and the association of serpents with the goddess, so this denotes another symbol of fertility. Because technically speaking, a snake, it molts and it continues. It's regarded as something eternal, because it can change. That it molts and then it grows a new body, sort of thing. Now at Bamuni Pahar, that has initially partially excavated remains of stone temples, but these belong to a later period, that is 10th, 12th century. We find the figure of Ketu along with that of Rahu. I'm sorry that, I could not paste it. One of my scholars had sent it. So there in a, that is temple panel, what do you find? First, I could not understand what it was. There was just one head, and top of that, one serpent-like figure. First, I thought it was a Naga, and I was thinking, then suddenly, that is Dimak ka batti jal gaya. Like I just realized, and my scholar also realized that, ma'am, it must be Rahu and Ketu. Because in later temples also, Ketu is depicted with the body of a snake. Now, and this we find a serpent, so anthropomorphic figure. This is from Gwalpara region. So it's called Surya Pahar. And along, this was found in a temple where we believe it to be a Buddha temple dedicated, Buddhist temple, because a lot of Salabhanjikas and Buddha in Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. Now, this temple, it is in a place called Hojai district. And in the early medieval period, this is the only temple base where we find terracotta sculptures in situ. So here you can see a Vyala. Here you can see a Vyala. And we find that these Vyalas, like here it has the body of a lion, tail of a lion, but something like a elephant, what you call, elephant trunk. But here there are horns also. This is in situ. These plaques are in a very bad state. You can see this oxen here. Then this is a depiction of Narasimha, things like that. So what you find, many of these plaques, as you can see, they have come out. They have come out, and that is, they have fallen, and they have been gathered and kept together. They were actually originally 2 brick temples with terracotta plaques. Now the plaques which had fallen and they were at the side, they were gathered and put together in one archaeological park and the office of the Directorate of Archaeology, Government of Assam. So they are in this what you call State Archaeology Department local office in the display cabinet, and some are kept in the reserve. The plaques measure 28 centimeters by 23, raised border of 2.5 centimeters all around. These 2.5 centimeters here. And then we find it here. This is in the reserve archaeology office. It was stored there. Now it's really very strange when you see this plate. So it depicts an elephant-like creature with raised head. Initially, we thought this was a tree, but when we look closer, you find it, the creature has a raised head, and it has a beak-like snout here. Beak-like snout resembling a flower with 4 petals. See, here it comes like this. This part is, notice, from the top of the head rises another 2 trunks, like one here, one goes this side, one goes this side. Okay, and we find 3 more similar type of plaques in situ. So like, it looks like an elephant, small tail like an elephant, but the head is very funny. As if it's tying, like little girls, they tie their hair in 2 sides. So whether the ear is depicted funnily like this and the snout, and see, you can see the foliage type. But they are in a very bad state actually. Then another one which we find, it has a long neck like that of a giraffe. Okay, and we find with the head of an elephant, but see, you can see it has pointed ears like this. The body is that of a horse, if you look at it. Okay, the body of an, so it's a hybrid between an elephant and a giraffe, but the tail is very funny. It's like this and a little bit like the serpent hood, but pointed. It's because it's not in a very good state actually. And then we also find this, like the former one like this, we also find one in situ, which I had, this is a bit funny, like something roaming like this, but with a forked tongue, sort of, more than an elephant trunk. So these are some type of Viala or chimeras. Now we find this with a, wait. Now this I have identified this as a Canary. She is sitting like this, but surprisingly, like she's sitting as if in meditation, but the fingers appear to be in Dharma Chakra Pravartana. And you can see the wing here, but here it has become eroded, and you can see the bird figures here. And above her prominent breast, you can see that is bird feathers. Only a single wing is visible above the left shoulder. This is damaged and her face is also damaged. She wears something like a turban headdress. So Canary or bird women are also found in the art of Thailand. These are beautiful women, unlike the harpies of Greek mythology that have a sinister demeanor. Because in harpies, they are like omens of death and all. But in Southeast Asia, when you look at Thailand and other places, the figures of Canaries are very beautiful looking bird women. And this is a mermaid. This is a mermaid. This is also found in Hojai. It's holding a lotus stalk. So you can see the prominent breast, but the face has become eroded, but it is very much a mermaid with a fishtail. Then here we have another Viala. It has a human head, but you can call hieroglyph, whatever. It doesn't even look like a horse actually. Some funny looking faces here. Some funny looking faces there. Now, this type of about mermaids, I'm not so sure, but like other type of chimeras or what you call hybrid animals, etc. Many of these, like Ajaviala, etc., they are quite common. They are quite common, and I think in the Sanchi Stupa also we find Kinaris or bird-like women, although the features are more like Assyrian, a bit of those, curly hair types like that. They are shown. But what you find is, and these art idioms, they travel to the Brahmaputra Valley. Okay, but certain art idioms are also of Southeast Asian origin, and basically one is the Ningaokha. Now, it is a winged lion dragon. It was created out of the old Thai dragon, a kind of water deity, like snake crocodile dragon, stylized with wings as it can fly. The Ningaokha has 4 different legs, which represent 3 animals and 1 tree root. This mythical animal appears as a hybrid of a snake, a lion, tortoise, a horse, and a bird, typically. Now, in the Thai scripture, Litlai Pen Kaka, that is the Thai, they speak the linguistic group. They are a linguistic group and racial group. They are Indo-Mongoloids. I mean, not Indo-Mongoloids, sorry, they are of Mongoloid origin. But what you find is their language is Tibeto-Burman. Language they speak is Tibeto-Burman language. So they have words of 1 syllable. So in one of the scriptures called the Litlai Pen Kaka, there was nothing, according to the origin of the earth, there was nothing besides the water of the ocean in the beginning. And Patu Ching, which is an omnipresent, shapeless, impersonal God or the supreme being, opened his eyes to the void and thus created from his breast the first deity. And this was called the Khunteokham. Freshly created and finding nothing to lean on, Khunteokham he dives into the water and laid on his back, and a lotus plant issues from his navel. So this is slight similarity to the story of Vishnu. Vishnu, from his navel comes the lotus from which Brahma, the creator, emerges. And Vishnu lying on Ananta Sheshnag, lying on the cosmic waves, things like that. Now, from their cosmology, you find this was followed by the creation of a crab, a tortoise, and an eight-hooded snake that encircled the tortoise. And the eight hoods spread in 8 different directions. Then you find in the story that a white elephant with long tusks and 2 mountains in the north and south were created, on which pillars were placed. Then a pair of gold-tinted spiders were created that floated in the air and dropped excrement from which the earth came out. The spiders then placed 8 pillars in the 8 corners of the wall and spun their web to create heaven. And this in Ahom religion denotes Yunnan in southwest China, known as Mongpi. Now, the Ahoms who migrated to the Brahmaputra Valley in the 13th century, which is documented in their historical chronicles called the Burunjis, they were from today the area of southern China and upper Myanmar or Burma. Now, this book contains details about the creation, and it says Fatuching also created a consort for Khun Theo Kham, and different things are given. And there were many eggs, and some would not hatch, so he sprinkled ambrosia. And from one of this, the 4th son, Ningaokha, was born. He's also called Phura or Phuralung, and he stayed back to help create the world. And one of the things, one of the sons turned into evil spirits, etc. So, later when the Ahoms were assimilated into the Brahmaputra Valley, they brought these gods with them, and these were the insignia. And this is early, this is Koch period, not like Ahom. This is from Gauhati near the Kamakhya temple. So that lion motif which we find, here you find the sort of a lion. So here it looks more like a horse, except when you look at the tail. So this is a 16th century stone gateway of the temple, not built by the Ahoms, but built by the Koch. This is the western gateway of the famous Kamakhya temple in Gauhati. And see, because people in Assam, they didn't also have an idea of what a lion looked like. So they gave it a mane, but most of the lions depicted at a later period, like early medieval temples, you find life like lion, because maybe the artist guilds, etc., came from other North India where they had seen depiction of the lion. But later you find like it looks like a horse, except when you look at the tail. And even in wooden sculptures, you find this. This is the, see, but this is a lion-like thing with wings. And this is sort of the thing. So this is what the Ningaokha looks like in later architecture, but it has a wing. So you can see the remnants of this wing here. So like half lion, half dragon, and with horns, etc. So differently they are interpreted and depicted. Now this is also, this is made of stone. This is in the hill districts of Assam called Dima Hasao. So its front part is broken, but here also you can see it's a fierce thing, but the ears are a bit broken. It looks a horse type of lion, but with wings. You can see this wing here. You can see the wing here. Now, when you find this, when we look at Southeast Asia or even China, and the Thai Ahom people today, they believe that the Ningaokha had a close relationship with the Chinese dragon. And stone guardian lions on tombs in China may have been the inspiration for the creature, as also the Pinsa Rupa of Phaya Luang of Myanmar and Thailand, which is also a mythical creature that is a hybrid animal of elephant, a bull, or a cow, horse, white calf, and tonaya. A tonaya is a mythical horned leonine type of dragon. Or sometimes you find that according to the text, it is alternately lion, elephant, water buffalo, white carp, and hamsa or swan. And this is stoned, which I said, more like a star. It's not exactly a horse, it's a stylized lion. Okay. Then again, say last 10-15 years, there has been a revival movement among the Thai people of Assam, because when they originally came in the 13th century, and the history is well documented of the date of migration, etc. And slowly, they adopted, they adopted the religion and culture of the Brahmaputra Valley. And they also, many of them became Hindus, others became Buddhists. But of late, and they were assimilated into what is known as the caste Hindu society, that is upper caste Hindu society. But with the and slowly, instead of earlier they used to bury the dead in the burial mounds, but later on they started cremating the dead. That is the most, you can say, they became Hinduized. But in the colonial period, they lost their superior position. And because of their food habits, the upper caste Hindus did not take food from the hand, say in the 19th century, when colonialism came. So in the census reports from the 1911, when we have the first census reports, etc., the Ahoms are classed as a backward class. And today they have reservation in the Indian constitution under other backward classes, that is in Assam. But of late, the princely families, there has been a revival, and many of them have gone searching for their roots. And so now, this Ningaokha, this emblem which you find on the old buildings, etc., this is here, and even here. What they have done is they have put it in the fabrics, they will embroider it in the clothes. They have now used it as an emblem. In ancient canons and all also, not ancient canons, 17th, 18th century canons also, we do find this emblem. But now it has sort of become representative of their identity movement, because they are looking for a separate, they're fighting to be enlisted, not in other backward classes, but in a scheduled tribe. Although my own teacher and my guide, is a scholar of the Ahom community, he has said that technically Ahoms are not a tribe. Now, what happened? Okay, this is one sculpture. Because of this Akshamala, this may have been something to do with Brahmani, but on the same temple, we also find Brahmani with 4 heads. So this identifying of this sculpture is a bit dicey, because even Ahom scholars whom I consulted, this is from an 18th century temple, they could not identify it. They could not identify it. This is of stone. This is of stone. And most Ahoms in these areas, they look like this. These are the physical features. Okay. So this is a very nice depiction of the Ningaokha. You can see the winged. This is sort of the tail, forked sort of tail. Lion-like, the ears are different. Things like this. Now, meanwhile, what happened in the Brahmaputra Valley? The new Vaishnavism became very popular in the 15th and 16th centuries as a result of the Vaishnavite saint, Srimanta Shankardev. And he built monasteries, that is monasteries called as satras, and prayer halls called namghars. So Bhakti movement became very popular at this time, because it was also a counterbalance to Tantricism, which had developed into practices with what you call esoteric rites and orgies and things like that. So Neo Vaishnavism, it gave a new leaning and sort of united people. That is by eradicating the Brahmin priests and other things. And Tantricism in Assam developed as a result of the amalgamation of Buddhism and Shaivism. But a very baser form of, I wouldn't say baser, but for purist in Buddhism, it would look baser. So there would be orgies and the Panchamakara, things like that developed. And in Kamakhya and all, this was the seat of Tantric worship. But slowly, with the advent of Neo Vaishnavism, and you find that idol worship was boycotted, and the Bhagavad Puran itself became the object of worship. And this text was placed upon a multi-tiered asana known as the Guru Asana. Guru is the teacher, of course, but here the Bhagavad would show the light. We would not need priests. And it was in the form of a stepped pyramid and resembled the royal throne of Indonesia. At the 4 corners, we find the earlier Gajasimha motif that has now evolved into a winged lion upon an elephant. Sometimes the elephant stands upon a tortoise also. But unlike the early medieval Gajasimha, originally realistic and later stylized, the Simha now has features of the Ningaokha. And here you find in sculptures also. And this is another hybrid creature, but I believe that they were trying to do this, but this artist was not so good, and it looks more like the head of a pig, but see, with wings. Now this is again on a rock cut sculpture with an inscription about a battle recovered from the bed of the Brahmaputra near Tezpur, called Kolya Bhumura. And here you can see a dragon like on the stone. See, you can see the dragon-like face, and the tail goes like this, but has become very eroded because when they built the bridge, they recovered it from beneath the sand and mud, and they cleaned it, have placed it upon a hill, but the river has done a lot of damage, but you can still see a little bit of the dragon. And this in another stone from Mizoram. Here also vaguely you can actually, the photo which I got, this was not my own photo. This is my own photo. This is not my own photo. Actually, I took a photo from a book and it has become pixelated. But here also you find a dragon with claws and wings. Now this motif we find in these are garden deities in Chinese tombs. And this is a sort of creature, dragon-like creature recovered from Chinese tombs. This also, see, the Ningaokha, and this is quite similar. And it looks like a lion, the tail is here somewhere, then the wings. But see, like feathers here. Now this motif, this is from Myanmar, a dragon with wings, Pinsarup, and this is from Thailand. And these are in metal, but in stone and all, this I've downloaded from online. Then again, this you can see in the museum in Bangkok. See the lion, it has a sort of snout like this, or the dragon with horns. This is from Southeast Asia, not from Assam. But I believe that these motifs inspired the Ningaokha in Assam, and the tail is funny like this. Now this is the Gajasimha in a 12th century stone temple from Assam. And here it is very realistic, the lion, see, it's very realistic, Gajasimha. But these are from the Assam State Museum. So these, you can see it looks like a monster on the elephant. Elephant is made from jade. Okay, this part is made from wood. So it has horns. So this is just like a dragon. These are actually part of the Guru Asanas. This is the actual size. And here the elephant is also very stylized. Okay. See, here's the small elephant. So they look very funny, like a snout type. Ears are like that. So the Gajasimha motif has really evolved. This one is colored, the elephant and the thing. So like the lion pouncing upon the elephant, that Indian motif, it has now wings. Here, see, you can see the wing. This is made of wood. I mean, this is from the original, and this they have just put in the museum like this. This is not stone. This is also wood, but it has become bad. So this is a Guru Asana. This is how they are from the elephant. And this is the Gajasimha. But it has now become the Ningaokha, the dragon thing. Here on this is placed the Bhagavat Puran, which is the object of worship in the Namghar even today. Now see, this is a panel recovered from Kuji Satra, which is a monastery. So we find Ram and Ravan. So see in the Singhasan also, depicting Singhasan like Ram. So this also has now entered. So the horse now looks like a lion, or the Singhasan, stylized Singhasan also, it looks like the Ningaokha. This is Ravan, and the tent head, they didn't have space, so they put it on top. This is wooden panel. This is in the museum. So here also, see, you can see the wings, because traditional Singhasan in India will not have these wings. Or it may have, I don't know, but I thought that it came from Southeast Asia. These winged, it becomes a hybrid now between the lion and the dragon. Thank you.